What is up, y'all? I hope you're doing well. We're here for our weekly energy oracle forecast. I hope that you guys are, I hope you get something out of last night's Secret Teachings of Jesus video. We did a part 2, and I kind of used it as an opportunity to introduce you guys to some of my Kabbalah teachers. And I shared videos of the weekly Zohar portions that had aligned like perfectly with the inner and outer portion. So we did a part 2 from last week. And then there were 2 podcasts that I shared as well from Kabbalah Center teachers that unpacked like how we take those concepts and like live them out. So I thought that was a really great episode, although a departure from our usual kind of format, but something different. And it is a long episode, admittedly. I mean, that is a week's worth of like lessons from the Kabbalah Center. So if you want to take it slow and watch it, bit by bit so you can really absorb, there's so much good wisdom and like vital wisdom in that video. So hope y'all enjoy it. So for this week, I love it. This card, Earth, it makes me think of like the process of manifestation is almost coming through. There's an actual manifest card, so this isn't the manifest card, but in order to manifest what we really want, we need to make sure that we're growing really healthy thoughts as opposed to egoic thoughts, and the trees, they have so much symbolism, their roots go way down into the ground, and they're grounded and they're rooted and they're strong and they can handle all the wind because their roots go so deep. And then they can grow taller because of how deep their roots can grow. And so the deeper that we understand, the higher that we can transcend, right? And so when our thoughts are in those higher realms and we're tapping into that super consciousness of the higher self, then we realize, I'm co-creating with the creator, and it takes so much pressure off, and we can be light and unburdened with anxiety. And when we can shift our thoughts and our consciousness into these high vibrational feelings, then that empowers our creative ability, because when we're in a high vibrational state, we're more functional as manifestors, as creators. Not to mention that when our thoughts are in the right place, our words will be in the right place as well. And we want to speak blessing and treasure into our life. We want to speak life. We want to speak abundance and health and wealth and joy and gladness and good things, right? So our words, our mouth is very powerful. This is the thing that we ultimately share in common with the creator that the other living kingdoms don't have. We have the power of speech. And what's even more powerful than the power of speech is the power of speaking our prayers out loud to the creator. So use your prayer practice this week. Use your words. Just unburden yourself. Talk, like gab away to the creator about your dreams and your desires and your questions, and really just talk it out. But watch your words this week. Make sure that you're not speaking negatively or in disempowering ways. Make sure you're watching your evil tongue and evil eye, because those can really take the steam out of the momentum that's building towards your manifestations. And I believe that big things can come through very, very soon and very quickly. So I love seeing this out first. Love it. And I think that this week too, we're kind of getting grounded. I think there was a big reboot last week on the heels of our Sagittarius full moon that sort of brought that Gemini new moon energy into full fruition. And I think it was sort of like being like a computer that was being rebooted, cleaned, and reloaded with all the good apps and software. And then we kind of had to reboot. And I feel like we might have been a little bit like detached and aloof and like just not really honed in and focused so much last week. We might have been kind of like a little bit in the ethereal realms of thought and imagination in that airy space. This week we're really getting grounded and bringing that energy and that new sort of reset and that new start and that new consciousness. We're bringing it online. We're bringing it into the physical, into our behavior, into our being. This week is also about borrowing from our higher self, the self that is already perfected and in its full wholeness and full union with the Creator. That self is within us. And so this week is about meditating in the mindset that you are connecting with that part of yourself that already has all the answers, that's already done the thing that you want to do, that's already completed the goal or the project, that already has found the partner or that has settled into the right career. Like that you, the most fulfilled version of yourself, already exists, and we can tap into that self and we can borrow light from that self. And so that self this week is going to be here wanting to integrate into our living, waking being. So this is about bringing more of that higher self through. So the solar plexus here is where we connect in our deepest inner knowing with the Creator. And this chakra is, when it's strong, it gives us a sense of being secure and grounded and protected, and it gives us confidence, and it helps us believe in ourselves because we feel that we are so supported by the Creator. I was doing my weekly card reading and this morning, and I had this visual of being a soul about to take a leap off of a diving board, like a really high dive, and you're in the soul space, and it's like and you're about to leave the soul realm where everything is perfect and everything is safe and secure, and you're kind of like getting yourself like pumped up and like primed to be brave enough to take the leap and to jump into the physical being. And I was thinking of it as being like on a high dive where we're looking out and we can see the whole universe and the world underneath us. And it's like, while we're still in that realm, in the upper realms, all the other souls and our spirit guides and our angels and all the supportive help, they're all around us, and they're all gathered around us, and they're like, you're gonna be okay. Just don't forget, like, we're all here the whole time. We've got your back. You won't be able to see us, but you'll know we're there. And no matter how dark it gets, no matter how bleak, there's always a purpose, and it's a simulation, and we're always gonna be here on the other side. We're always gonna be whispering and cheering you on and telling you the answers. And we've got you, and we're, everything's going to be okay. And everything that happens to you, it's already pre-planned. It's already, destined, and you don't have anything to really worry about, because at the worst case scenario, you get offed on Earth and you come right back here where everything's perfect. So there's nothing to be afraid of. And so I was just thinking about that kind of level of support, that we can draw on, that there is a whole legion of loved ones and spiritual guidance and prophets and sages and Jesus and the Holy Spirit and God. They're right there. We just can't see them. And they're cheering us on even right now. And they're like, we're helping you, we're guiding you, we're at your side, and we have to incorporate them, and we have to incorporate their support by asking. They can't really intervene because we have free will. So maybe this week, draw on that confidence by remembering that moment right before you took the leap to jump into this body. Right before you jumped in from that higher realm into the lower realms, you had to do that cliff dive, right? We had to like get up the nerve and like run and jump, and there's no turning back now. Man, the next incarnation is going to be real difficult if the world's still going next time around, because it's just like, woof. I can only imagine, the soul versions of us, like seeing what was playing out on Earth during our lifetime and thinking like, do we need to do this again? you know, we were not done with our work yet. Not done. So we're going to keep reincarnating until it's finished. So we better make sure to take care of the earth, because we don't care enough about our children and grandchildren and our posterity. Just know you'll be back in it. It's only going to get worse from here. So bring your bags to the grocery store. Yes. So this is also our like clear connection to that inner guidance, that inner knowing, and that connection to the Holy Spirit. This is also the chakra that drives your willpower and your drive and your motivation. So this is all connected to that psychic feeling of knowing in your gut. This is connected to your willpower, your self-esteem, your self-worth, your confidence, your feeling of security, and your feeling of being secure in the Creator and provided for. So we want to enhance those sacral chakras. You can work with yellow through the week if you like to have some extra tool to work with. There's a book called Your Life in Color by Dougal Fraser, and he is a psychic that understands the essences and vibrations of color. And so he wrote a book about working with color and putting certain colors around you to enhance certain parts of our personality and our strengths and our soul and our energy field. And I mean, I can't even begin to start telling you how effective it is just to consciously surround yourself with the color that corresponds with what you want to enhance or what you want to work on. So crazy. But I ended up I've got, I think, a 2-part book report in one of my playlists that is, I think, book review playlist. But watch those videos, order his book. Like, it's so easy. It's the easiest, like, work you can ever do. There's nothing, like, I don't even think there's any journal questions. It's just like, you use the color, you pay more attention to the color, you incorporate the color in your life. It's so fun because I love color. Color really nourishes me. Oh my gosh. So we have the sacral chakra. So when I was just talking about like jumping from the upper realms into the lower realms, this sacral chakra is connected to that next realm over, where all of our souls are stored, are housed in this astral realm here. This is also where all of the blessings gather as we manifest from the crown chakra down through the tree of life, through the different dimensions of the human soul and consciousness. All this energy travels down, and this is the last area, this is the last dimension before the manifestation comes through. This is the foundation. This is where the mixture, everything gets mixed together, and this is where like the concrete gets mixed to pour the foundation. So connecting with that deep sense of security, knowing that we are joined and connected with the Creator, that is strengthening that connection, allows for the blessings to flow through. All of our blessings come from the astral realm before they come here. All of our souls come from the astral realm when we're born, and we return there when we die. Right. And this chakra here is located like in the sexual organ area near the womb and the ovaries. And this is also the center of our creativity, but also where we hold our shame, especially shame that involves like anything that's like sexually oriented shame. So healing this is going to increase our confidence and our sense of self-worth and our self-esteem. And then from there, like when this is strong, then you're more likely to be consistent and follow through and have good discipline. Also, the instincts and the psychic powers are stronger when those are both nurtured. Those chakras are nurtured and clear. Sorrow, I think as we let go of the old self, as we let go of the past, as we realize that we're moving into a new era, a new chapter of our life, it can be sad. It can be sad to think about, the past. It can be sad to think about opportunities that have, we've moved past and we're beyond them now. We can grieve the person that we never became. We can grieve the parents that we never had. You know, we can grieve the career we never had, right? And we can also grieve the things that we have had that have come and passed, whose seasons are now, you know, complete. So there's bittersweet tears moving through any transition and through any transitional period. But overall, I feel like this year generally has been really heavy. I've carried a lot of sorrow for the world this year. I feel like on a daily basis, I have wept for one cause or another, one group of people or another, one reason or another. You know, it's like there's so much to grieve. There's the grieving for the people who are suffering and the people who are being put upon. And then there's the grieving for all the people who have been fooled and blinded and sucked into this darkness. And feeling almost like you've lost those people. And hopefully, you know, they wake up and we get them back. But this is like, it's very tragic. It's tragic all the way around, you know. It's tragic all the way around. It's, you know, very sad right now, just like having this holy vision of sorrow, looking at the world and knowing what it could have been had we been perfected human beings, and had we been unified, and had we just had love in our hearts instead of so much division and fear and separation and greed and lust for power and all that implies. And we would have taken care of the earth and the animals, and held it precious. And taken time to understand the mysteries of life and the universe and spirit. But instead we're here in 2025, and this is what we are working with. The collective mistakes of humankind and the result of those therein. And so now we have a lot of work to do to reverse the trajectory of the human race and the planet Earth. And so there's a lot of feelings, there's a lot of grief going on. I think that's why so many of us are so nostalgic for the 80s and the 90s, because that was the last moment where everybody was kind of still innocent and happy and having fun and didn't realize what was just right around the corner, what was brewing in that moment. You know, it's like technology was good enough to get us by, give us some fun and some frills and trimmings, but it wasn't so much so that we were totally exposed and exposed to everything. And then, you know, as the years have progressed, you know, there's just been such a rise in everything, and everything's sped up so fast, and the darker shadow side of humanity has been drawn out of us. And so that's where we're at right now. It's like the extremes are being pulled out of us. It's like people at their worst and people at their best. And we're trying to go through this very climactic moment to find our way back to balance again. But we're going to have to go through this extreme time of purging our evils inside of us, and purging our prejudices, and purging our anger. And, you know, it's like these two sides are very polarized right now. And it's hard not to take on the dislike and the hate and the anger that the one side is spewing. What happens is when we judge, we become what we're judging. Like the American extremists right now. They judged the Islamic extremists, and they judged all the Islamic people based on the Islamic extremist groups. And now the Christian extremists are every bit just as guilty of the things that the Islamic extremists were guilty of. It's like when the moment that we judge someone, we take on that karma, and we have to go through a process to walk through that person's shoes. So it's very easy right now to look at these people that we're on the opposite side of and just not like them and want to just feel hatred towards them. But we have to resist that because we can't become the same. And hatred is the lowest vibrational feeling. And so it's better to grieve for these people rather than harden ourselves in bitterness. Let's grab one more card. I feel like it's this. On the bottom of the deck, the self rising up into the higher self. We're having to transcend that lower nature, that body consciousness, that wants to cling to the ego. Right? The cling to that's not fair and they're not right. And, I don't want to take the high ground, but this is exactly what the assignment is. And so this week is all about borrowing that light from the higher self and feeling the support and knowing that it's there, knowing that the support of God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit and our angels are with us at all times. And we need to call on those and ask for help, ask for intervention, ask for assistance, ask for guidance. And then in the meantime, as we're sitting in our prayer and meditation this week, as we're imagining that future perfected self, it's not even a future self, it exists now. There's no time and space in the spiritual realm, it's all now. So we can borrow from that perfected self that's just right on the other side of physicality. And then in the midst of that and in the through all of that, we need to be speaking blessings into our lives and cultivating those higher thoughts, that higher consciousness that's going to start generating good blessings and good vibrations and good ideas and good perceptions, good outlook. All right, that is all for tonight. You have plenty to catch up on. Apologies for our really long video Saturday night, but it's all really good information. So take your time with it through the week, but I highly encourage devouring it, eating it up, and really listening deeply because there's so much good wisdom there. All right, you all. Well, we will be back together tomorrow for our weekly anchor message where we will be getting our spiritual lessons and assignments for the week to come. All right, peace.